are back here for the losers match. These two players are trying to redeem themselves in the eyes of you people and us and fight their way back to get a spot into the round of 16. Up here on the top left-hand corner of the map, we have representing Team Ascension. He is the Protoss player, Rengen.
And in the bottom right corner, representing All Inspiration, he's fighting for his lifeline. This is Fission. Wow. Can he have a reaction big enough to get out of this group? I don't know.
Sounds
good. Now, you mentioned it a little bit there. You were referencing it. This is what it comes down to. Who is going to be the first guy to be known as the first player to drop from ASL Season 5 Challenger League? One of these guys has to fall. Will it be Fission? Will it be Rengen? I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's will be interesting here. We've seen Fission already play a Protoss, but we've seen Fission play such a weird Protoss style that we can't really make any decision on how he usually plays. So, like, we didn't see anything similar to what he would usually do. So, it's going to be kind of a blank slate there. Rengen's not able to really pick up much intel from that.
Certainly,
SCV comes with the scout. Yeah.
There's a lot of differences, most likely, that will be seen between Rengen and Fission, or at least between Rengen and Rain at the very least. Now, for the moment, Fission seems to be opening up pretty similarly to how he did in some of the previous series, Reaper Expand. We've got the Nexus coming out as well from Rengen, pointing towards that macro play.
Yeah, and both of them putting the expansions down. Mothership Core coming out should be in time for this Reaper as it has to pop up.
Reaper gonna head
will
on
get in here.
Ooh, the Mothership Core.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, so he does react. For a second, I thought it was going to keep on piecing out and just give full vision for that Reaper. Regardless, the Reaper does get a pretty good scout in. He doesn't see everything, but, I mean, he sees basically everything that he really needs to see. I guess he could maybe not assume that both gases have been taken.
Yeah, he may not know that, but he saw things that he kind of expected to, I think. There is a Twilight Council coming in the back here. The Reaper will take the step and come in and verify that. But he does turn around before he gets in deep enough to see that Twilight. And he may not want to sacrifice, because I think him going in all the way would be a sacrifice of the Reaper.
So Fission coming out of that series against Rain, he has not scouted his third or his, potential fourth base if you're looking north of Fission's main base. He didn't scout up there with the Reaper, so either he's more familiar with Rengen and his play style, and he knows, all right, I don't have to be as worried about something silly, crazy, or, insane like the proxy, given the fact that I saw the Nexus. It's not necessarily going to be anything too crazy. And for now, he gets a nice scout with that Reaper, and combining that with the information he had earlier, he can be reasonably safe that even though he didn't scout over by that third or fourth, he has a pretty good idea of what's going on.
Yeah, and seeing that Twilight there, he would be able to tell that is researching, and can probably safely assume that it's Blink at this point. So he gets the bunker down up front. He does have the Widow Mine there out already as well. And this, I'm not sure that this is the best Blink map in the world, because you can't really blink into the main that easily. Like, there's areas you can do it, but it's not like this big, wide spot that you can go up and down.
I mean, this isn't Yunsu or anything like that. So, the Marine going to be looking for some opportunities to maybe shut down pylons, but he will actually just confirm, there's actually not a whole lot going on from our Protoss player as far as proxy pylons go. Now, the potentially most dangerous part of the first, 8.5 minutes of this game is that double Widow Mine drop. I guess single medevac drop, but double Widow Mines inside of that medevac, heading out across the left side of the map. We've all seen it in the past, and even as a Terran player who does enjoy Widow Mines, I am one that knows that Widow Mines can be very rage-inducing and sometimes do more damage than you think they should.
Yeah,
And against
Stalkers
probes,
moved just into the wrong position at the wrong time, but they do have Blink now, so they could potentially go after this medevac.
oh, there's the burrow. Nothing does happen. That shutdown, that's like literally one probe kill, and lost 2 Widow Mines and a medevac. I'd take that as a Protoss. I'd take that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the Blink had just finished before the medevac had come in, so he does reveal that he has that, but I think his opponent knew that he was going to anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, holding that off pretty strong, pretty good. And these Stalkers will now move up front to at least take a look around or try and poke or harass something.
Stim is still a good way away, but without combat shields, without medevacs, without Stim, Blink Stalkers are going to be a fair bit stronger. There's the pull of the SCVs. The repair will indeed be in time, but the snipe of the Observer denies that crucial high ground vision.
Yeah, and he does back off here. I think what Rengen is maybe trying to do at this point is make him think that potentially there is more Stalker aggression to come, but that's not where he's going at all. He's going into Colossus, getting range on it as well now, and just kind of continuing to macro up as he takes his third base. But he's still kind of presenting this impression. His opponent may realize it now as we're still at only 5 Stalkers.
Well, there was never never that big explosion of gateways. He saw Fission saw the first 3, but of course he doesn't know, where's another 5 added on behind that, bringing it up to 8 before the third base. And the answer is quite frankly no. As you mentioned it, the third base is on the way before the additional gateways are added on. So a nice sell of that Stalker aggression. We do have the additional racks going to be coming up, rounding us out to 5 racks, a factory, and a starport before that third base. That means we're going to be looking at a lot of Terran units pushing out across the map. And Stimmed Bio, which is not stimmed just yet, but in another 20 seconds or so it will be, is a very powerful Protoss killing force.
Yeah, and he does see that move out, blinks back away from it, and I'm sure he'll try and kind of track that as it moves throughout to see where it is, when it will actually hit. At home, he has 2 Colossus already up. He's got Zealots. He's about 60 seconds away from charge on that, so he may be looking to try and delay this Terran force a little bit and see if he can't get that done.
Stalker's moving forward, and the nice thing for Rengen is that he's already shut down the rocks, and he's got a couple of sentries which will give him some defensive force field capabilities. Of course, he needs to make sure that he doesn't accidentally force field himself out of the main or the natural if there's a drop.
Oh, almost picking off one of those medevacs as it gets too far away.
Cleans up a couple of Marines there before the engagement even happens. There's the big blink backwards as Guardian Shield does pop, and both these guys are going to be backing away. They don't want to commit just yet.
Yeah, very good control of this army here by Rengen so far. Taking basically the shots that he can get off and not actually committing to any engagement. 3 medevacs are picking up and going towards the far right side here as the Protoss army is actually moving out. Oh, he misses the opportunity to blink on those. I don't know if he actually got close enough to see them. And we're going to get the boost in now to the third base.
If he decides to drop there, that may not be the best opportunity to do damage, as he's going to be heading over towards the main. The majority of the army is going to be responding to the threat in the natural, but it has been split up. The Colossi going to be walking towards the main. Oh, if this Stim Bio is paying attention, they might jump forward, snap up that Colossi, and eat it for lunch. But the Zealot's going to be warping and kind of body blocking the path there, but these Colossus will go down as the rest of the army is going to be showing up. There's still 3 Colossi here. With Zealots on the ground, it's going to be a difficult force to overcome.
Yeah, Stalker's trying to track these down, but can't get an angle on them from there.
Second engineering bay going to be added on. Of course, it's +1 attack versus +1 attack for now. But oh, there's actually going to be a nice shutdown of one of the medevacs. The second one will manage to escape there as the Marauders going down. The Marines as well get eliminated, and every real attempt at aggression has been completely blocked, knocked away, and smacked down by Rengen.
Yeah, he's starting to add on a little bit of Viking, just 2 of them out already for him, but adding additional medevacs as he has to replace the ones that have been killed. Ooh. Throwing down a second starport as the engagement comes here. This is a fairly overwhelming force by our Protoss player. Widow Mines are not burrowed, and it's going to be hard to defend anything here. Will he go in for the natural or swing into the third base to try and deny that?
Potentially, well, I guess there's only a couple of sentries here, but maybe if he has enough force fields to to block the ramp, that could be a nice opportunity, but he doesn't even need it. Now, SCVs on one side going to be trying to move in, but really that's just sacrificial SCVs, as Zealots have now mostly been cleaned up. There is still good, well-stemmed bio on the high ground, which does provide some nice opportunities. The sentries do escape, which they've still got that energy building up, and 2 more sentries being warped in. The Zealot count is exceedingly low, though.
Yeah, and the Zealots that do exist were warped in back at home as there was a drop at the third base, mostly cleaned up there now. But he's going to get more SCV kills here. They are charging forward now, able to target down these Colossus as the last one does fall. Only Stalkers really left here. He'll have to blink out, but he does at least kill a lot of the SCVs at the third base.
Cleaning up the SCVs and denying that economy is very important when he's going to be losing so many of those expensive robotics units. And you did mention that attack in the main base of Rengen. Unfortunately, the 2 medevacs are just kind of chilling around, not really doing anything. They actually will both manage to escape, which is nice. At least they'll escape for now. And if Fission can kind of stabilize and secure himself a third base, start dropping those mules, making use of his triple orbital, he's going to be all right. As you can see on the income tab, they're both sitting around 12 or 2,000 minerals per minute. And donates away the mothership core as well.
Yeah, he turned around there. He was so close to finding these 2 medevacs. He was making a beeline right for them and pulled back as that little engagement happened.
Ooh. Bit of a mistake there. Now, Psionic Storm, just about halfway done. It's going to be another another 60 seconds or so until it's finished. And that's, of course, the timer for our Protoss player. Rengen doesn't necessarily want to take an engagement without splash damage against stemmed bio.
Yeah, exactly. Zealot's getting into the mineral line here of Fission. Trying to keep his count low, but we get 55 SCVs, 66 probes. Healthy economies on both sides. Once you throw mules into that, we're relatively even.
And that evening up is exactly what Fission needs. Psionic Storm just finishing up right there. It's completed. Now, how many High Templar actually are out on the map? Well, the count is 3 thus far. That's not a crazy number of storms, but as we saw in the previous series of Fission versus Rain, storms can be very effective against Fission. And when you're looking at it's a 2-2 Protoss army against a 1-1 Terran army, you add storms in there, and this bio, which isn't looking particularly impressive, can just be cut down so quickly.
Yep, and the scan on these, he may not actually notice the... no, he must notice that 1 lone Templar up on the top. The blink out to separate these Stalkers and try and pick off Vikings as they come in. But he's going to position his army to try and push this back. Scan on his own army in the mass pickup.
Yeah, a bit of a doom drop.
Could just be going for a doom drop here.
Everything lifts up and it's into the third, but will he stop there? No, it's into the main base, pulling back the entire Protoss army. Vikings
Mothership
being pulled
Corps
along. No. Go for the recall?
Recalls to
okay, there we go. Yeah. And actually, with the positioning of a lot of those Stalkers, they will take a bit of damage before anything actually shows up. There's going to be storms raining down upon that bio, and the Zealots cleaning up pretty much the rest with the help of those Colossi.
Yep, and that was disastrous. When someone can recall directly onto you like that, then obviously they're in pretty good storm range immediately. Some damage obviously went before they really fully materialized, but able to obviously shove back that Terran.
4th base up and mining for Rengen. He is going to have that to kind of continue him on in the next couple of minutes of this game. For Fission, he's mostly just sitting on the 3 orbitals, so if he isn't able to do some pretty serious evening of things up as the game continues, he may find it difficult to actually compete with Rengen. Now we're at a +3 attack and +2 armor for our Protoss against, well, +2, 1, and +2 attack, +1, and storms once again raining down.
Huge storms yet again coming from below ground. Some of the zealots trapped behind this army, but they do get cleaned up here. Only stalkers really left, plus that Colossus over to the side will eventually be taken out. A Archon comes in to provide some buffer, and the warp in from the left-hand side will cause the pickup and carry that fight, but not without heavy losses.
Zealots in the main base, raking havoc, going to be, well, targeting down not all that much. It's not a huge amount of SCVs that have gone down, at least not just yet, but those +3 attack, +2 armor Zealots can tank quite a bit and deal some pretty nice damage as well.
Yeah, and one thing we're seeing here, because of those mules and so on, Fission is very close to mining out his natural base as well as his main, which is already empty for both players. And he's really only got that third base to fall back on, and it'll be really hard to actually take a fourth given the position Rengen is standing in.
We have another opportunity for some storms to do massive, massive amounts of damage, and if the Templars do their work and then morph into Archons, that just adds even more beef that Fission has to break through. Zealots on the front lines, are they going to be able to... Well, there's a storm on top of some of the Zealots, but oh, this bio is quite clumped up. The medevacs aren't extremely high on HP either, as there's the GG, and Rengen will take game number 1 of our second to last best of 3. And we are in Dakota for game number 2. This is the Group A losers match. One of these players goes home. Will it be in this particular game? Starting with our player in the south. Our purple Terran representative of all inspiration. This is Fission.
And his opponent up in the top left-hand side of the map representing Team Ascension. He is Rengen.
I do wonder, I'm assuming not, but I do wonder if he is in the Team Ascension house. I assume he wouldn't be, but maybe, you know what, maybe he is.
Possible. Yeah.
Anything's possible.
I know most of the people I know that are good aren't, but I don't know who is. So there's 2 of them around here in Toronto. But, yeah. Oh, maybe he is. Maybe he's got people cheering him on.
That's very possible. In this particular case, they would be cheering quite well as he's up 1-0, potentially going to be eliminating Fission. Once again, a Reaper. I'm assuming it's going to be a Reaper, relatively fast expand. We'll have to keep an eye on if it's going to be some sort of 1-base 1-1-1 build, because early aggression might be the opportunity for Fission to do some... I don't know about game winning, but some at least advantage damage where he has an opportunity to really set himself apart and have a lead in the game. Widowmine drops early on are a way to do that.
Yeah, and it looks like Rengen sending the probe down there wants to put that Nexus down, does.
There's the command center.
Hasn't started yet, but there comes the mothership core, which is good. But a little later this time, the Reaper's going to get in there and have a few seconds before that mama ship is out.
He'll be able to get a nice look around, and he's going to be like, okay, you are definitely not Rain. And by that I do mean, though, not my Insanity Rain. For those of you who missed the previous series, I was talking about the other Rain, who I believe represents Frey. But instead, he was definitely a very weird Protoss where you don't expect the third pylon to actually be in the main base. However, Fission has actually scouted that, and he's like, oh, you got a Nexus as well? Good, easy peasy, I'm going to be safe for the first couple of minutes. Yeah.
I think his team was Crazy Lifestyle. It's opponents that was like, or Frey.
Yeah. There's all sorts of clans and teams. And,
I don't know, though.
But once again...
Twilight Council again,
Yeah. Potentially just more Blink coming out from Rengen. And I'm kind of curious, is he going to do the same sort of like, hey, I'm totally pressuring you with Blink Stalkers. Just kidding, I'm actually taking a third base. Because he can kind of expand, you know, over towards, I guess over towards the right side of the map, forming kind of a line with his bases if he wants.
Yeah, it'd be cute if he actually did the same thing, but actually did go for the Blink Stalkers this time. And maybe his opponent would have his guard down a little bit. Reaper getting in here actually is going to get the full scout off and not really be punished for it.
Yeah. Quite
Yeah,
nice.
in the last case, he had to lose the Reaper, of course, to get that information because of the way that Rengen walls off the back there. But he got that in and out just fine.
The starport going to be finishing up there. The first medevac does start. There have been a couple of Widow Mines produced, and this is a bit of a push out from Fission. He's going to be looking to potentially just drop directly from the third into, well, I guess it would be more of a fourth, but from that kind of front base location into the main, and can he actually do some nice damage? Now, in the last game, as Endersword was referencing, I believe in between, Rengen did have the Blink Stalkers there to actually put down the medevacs. It may not be quite the same here, as he's going to be losing his kind of first Stalker. Can he escape? Nope.
Finish that one off. Does finish it off there.
Oh
my god. 7 kills on that one Widow Mine as they come forward to attack the Marines. 12 probes dead in total there. And yeah, that's that type of early pressure aggression that you were talking about that may just completely set Rengen back. Trying to chrono an observer, but this will definitely fire one more time.
If Fission realized and kind of came to the conclusion that, hey, my opponent kind of likes playing macro, great opportunity to take advantage of that is with some early pressure. As we're seeing, kind of the 2-base 1-1-1 into the additional 3 racks. And I'd actually kind of like to see the additional 4 and 5 racks be added on before that third command center for a bit more pressure from Fission.
Drop up on the high ground there. Bringing back in a Widow Mine, which is just kind of running forward. 6 more probes, 8 more probes, 9 probes going down. 1 Stalker does die before it can blink up. And just kind of taking control of this situation. Photon Overcharge will likely drive them away.
Yeah, they're going to be stutter-stepping up into the main where another Photon Overcharge does wait for them, and for a short while they were actually being attacked by the overlap of the Photon Overcharges. 11 more probes went down, as you were mentioning there, bringing the total kill count up to 25 at this point, and of course 39 SCVs with mule support against the 27 probes. That is not a fun situation to be in as Protoss, nearly double the income in minerals for our Terran player.
Yeah, definitely going to be a hard position for Rengen to actually recover from. He's going the same basic structure that he was trying in the first game of the Colossus after the Blink Stalkers, but because of those losses, it's going to be a lot harder to get to the position that he was able to push his opponent in the last game.
I'm not sure how well the next couple of minutes will really work out for Rengen. He might just have to turtle kind of hard, try to go for 3 bases and some sort of storm combination before he's really looking to push out. And of course, if he tries to go that defensive, it opens up all sorts of opportunities for potential damage coming in from drops. Three weakened Stalkers at the front. I don't know that you need to pull too many SCVs to repair the bunker against that, considering all of the stimmed bio that can... Well, not stim bio, but the bio that is here.
Yeah, he's just trying to get a couple kills off on that, off on Fission side of things. A 3rd command center is almost done. And one really big difference that this is going to lead to in this game is the upgrades. Last game, Rengen was able to keep at least 1 full tier of upgrades ahead of his opponent for most of the game. That's not going to be the case here, as the 1-1 is going to finish... or at least the +1 is going to finish on the Terran side this time, and there's not even a forge on the map.
If you get to kill 20-something probes, then you do get those nice advantages, and now we're seeing Rengen with the early advantage, rolling it right into a nice 20 army supply advantage. And as you mentioned, those upgrades as well, soon Stim will be finished as an addition to that, and combat shields, of course, finishing up a couple of moments ago, will just help this survive. Now, like a good macro player, he's going to be moving out, maybe putting on some pressure, and then securing his 3rd quite nicely behind it.
Well, Stim back as he saw that army where he didn't expect it to be, but will now make his way into the 3rd, check if anything is up there, and of course there is not. As a 3rd Colossus joins Rengen's force.
And now we're
2 more
seeing that
medevacs moving out.
The splitting up of the Terran army where, when you're 30-ish army supply ahead, even though some of that is in medevacs, you can afford to do the little splits off here and there. Hey, you've got an upgrade advantage as well, so you got slightly higher quality units than you would otherwise have. But we're starting to see that push up of the gateways, and no third in sight for Rengen, so he's going to be really focused on defense. There's the photon overcharge popped pretty much immediately, but these medevacs do unload. They'll be able to eat up a couple of stalkers. A nice shot with that Widowmine. Not great, but it's good enough. The second one does not fire off just yet. Will not really do all that much. Not the best attack, and there's nothing on the other side of the map doing damage, which would have been nice if it was.
Yeah, actually an incredible defense by Rengen there, really. He only lost like one of those stalkers and very few other units, and killed everything. Good reaction
if there would have
time,
been,
too. He blinked on it immediately.
Maybe if Fission would have at the same time have just punched into the natural, he could have got the kill on the Nexus or something like that, but he didn't take really advantage of any of those opportunities, and now he actually might have an opportunity like that with this entire Protoss force moving out to the middle.
Yeah, the army is stimming up, making its way into the natural base. The Mothership Core is not with this army, so it cannot recall.
Ooh, and that's the DPS on that Nexus. Are they going to be recalling? Even if they do, they would have to be into the main.
Trying to make his way back to the mothership.
There we go.
There is the recall.
And the army is going to be stepping on forward. They probably just need to get out of here at this point. They've killed off a Nexus. They can evacuate. And, sticking around a bit too long, loses a medevac full of units.
Yep, but still overall 70 supply ahead and 2 bases ahead. The Protoss is going to go back to the original plan here and basically launch an all-in at the other side.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you do?
Yeah, and he's just outgunned.
Oh, he's going to be catching 1 medevac, 2 medevac, 3 medevac. That's a nice start. It does kind of even up that army supply. Now, of course, the problem being if he can do some sort of nice engagement with the Colossi, he can start to eat away at that Terran force. Normally, you'd have something like force fields to make that work for you, but with 1 sentry and basically no energy, it's going to be awkward for Rengen to take this. There's the big stim forward. This entire body is ready to fight as they are now going to be backing off. They're taking actually a lot of damage here, trying to, I guess, lure forward the Stalkers and the Colossi. But for now, the SCV's off the line, and I mean, this is pretty much all or nothing for Rengen. He needs to make this work, otherwise it's going to be lights out. And for some nice Colossi, or some nice Viking shots on the Colossi, and now here's going to be the final big push forward. This Colossi are doing some pretty nice damage, but I don't know that it's enough.
Yeah, they are, but there's no Zealots to buffer for this. Once again, though, SCVs have been pulled in a weirdly large number, but this time it will be fine, and he's going to power through this. No more anti-area there. The last Colossus does fall, and GG is
GG!
We're back here on Terraform. The deciding game of this best of 3, who will go on to the consolation match and who will just go home. They're probably both already home. But down here on the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have representing Team Ascension. It is our Protoss player, Rengen.
In the top left corner, he was able to take that previous game back with some nice aggression early on, but he still has to beat this final boss to step forward into that redemption match. From all inspiration, this is Fission.
Sending out an SCV scout there. First one up into the third base, and then kind of changed directions. Not sure whether that's just a change of pathing or something, but where is he going?
He should
he's just gone to the base normally. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So he's not looking to do anything too crazy. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's a build where you proxy racks after you're building your first racks in your main. That would certainly be weird. He's going to be getting an eye on this probe down in the kind of south part of the map. Now, of course, the thing that he doesn't quite know, or maybe he does know if he's very keen on his timings, is that the gateway and the cyber core are already finished up before this Nexus was started. So hopefully he's tuned into the timer in the bottom left corner of the screen, and he's like, all right, your Nexus is just now starting. Your opener was probably, gateway cyber core.
Yeah. This time around, he's actually not even bringing the Reaper across the map. I think he's just going to assume it's the same thing and attempt to deny the scouting that Rengen is setting out.
Which is nice. It opens up all sorts of opportunities for Fission. He's going to get the kill on the probe. Oh, the probe does see the command center, so he will have that information. There's going to be the additional racks, and this, oh buddy,
yep.
1 racks, CC, double racks follow-up. It's a 3 racks, and how many reactors will he add on? That's kind of my question. Maybe he wants to go for a tech lab, something like that. He does have only 1 gas, though.
Yeah, limiting what he can do there. The Reaper does swing up again, wants to confirm that the same thing is happening, and yes, the same thing is happening. Twilight Council is under construction there, and I've got to think that Fission's pretty confident that this is just going to work again.
He might, of course, this is different than it was in the previous game, going for triple racks, no factory, no Widow Mine, but a big bio push out. Maybe a couple of Marauders mixed in. Does he actually wait for Stim? I'm assuming not. I'm assuming he just dedicates those resources.
Oh, yeah, no, he's actually getting Concussive Shell instead, which makes some sense.
Yeah, if he wants to go with the Marauders, definitely eating up those Stalkers that much more quickly, allowing him to cut away from Zealots a lot better as well. So it's into Robo Facility for Rengen. I'm not actually sure when this attack pushes out, how many units is he going to have to deal with this?
Yeah, not certainly not very
a lot
many.
On tech.
Yeah, it's very techy, very gas heavy, and upgrade heavy there as the blink is done. But we've got the blink done, and it's literally 1 Stalker in the Mothership Core, and that Stalker will go out, see the army coming in, realize what's happening. At least he'll be able to move the Mothership Core down to the Nexus in time, maybe to get a photon overcharge right away.
He definitely has enough energy for it. Now, Concussive Shell has finished up, which means 1 Stalker is almost... Nope, it's not a guaranteed kill, but boy, it sure was close. Now, some strategies actually kind of depend on forcing out a Nexus cannon and then stepping back. In this case, he's just going for the throat. Gets all 3 of the Stalkers. He's going to be sacrificing his units, though, and he forces the probe pull. I'm not sure if that was... I guess it was relatively even.
Yeah, it's, he got a couple extra kills in the main base with the Reaper as well. Yeah, it takes out the Stalkers, but yeah, I think he expected to be able to have a bit of a force left there, and obviously didn't due to the overcharge.
It's different if you have medevacs. You can walk in, force an overcharge 1 Nexus, then lift up into the main.
Right.
All right. In that particular case, Rengen going to be buying himself a little bit of space to help deal with any next impending attacks, but of course there isn't anything moving out across the map because Terran doesn't have that much supply, and he needs to make sure that he's safe and secure back home.
Yep, Reaper does go down there as he tries to get another probe kill, but does not. We've got... he even builds everything in the exact same position. We got the robotics bay coming down as well, as the robotics facility is done.
Oh, and blink into the main?
Yeah.
Is that what this observer is hanging out there for? I would assume
he's
so.
Around there.
Yeah.
This is, I mean this
negating
may be,
the bunker
again, this sort of like pressure, do something about this, but this isn't really what I'm doing thing. Oh, yeah, if he goes for the combat shields here, if he can cancel that, it's a pretty big pickup.
Yeah, now Stim is going to be that much more dangerous to do. I mean, there is already delayed medevacs. There's 1 out on the field. Rengen needs to be careful with that bunker double Marauder inside of it. He can't really commit to a frontal assault just yet.
Oh, the Stim forward very quickly there. Gets 2 before they even blink away.
Yeah, you need blinks like Parting or something to be able to... or at least better blinks than that, to be able to stand up against that Stim bio in that particular case. Now, for the present time, it's into Colossi, but the additional gateways are being added on. It's not quite that explosion of gateways just yet. I mean, 3 being added on to the already 2 that are out on the map, so it's up to 5 on 2 bases. I'm kind of curious as to what the third base plan is for Rengen.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to, like, these are actually kind of tough ones to hold. There's a lot of entrances into them. He moves in again with the stalkers up front. Some forces do drive them back. 2 medevacs, of course, going on the bottom of the map here. And will try and drop into the main. The Mothership Core is there to support.
2 more gateways going to be added on, and this Observer keeping a nice eye on the Terran army. But as you mentioned, the drop into the main base, it's completely in shadow as there is no vision on that portion of the main. Bio stepping forward out onto the map, but now into the mineral line and getting some nice probe kills. There's the Photon Overcharge. The Nexus will be targeted, but the Colossi is maybe the more important target as one does go down. The second one probably won't. Yep, yeah. He manages to escape.
So, yeah, not bad, but the Stalkers here will chase this one down, potentially. They try and blink forward. He drops to attempt to deal with this.
Yeah. Those are not Maru Marauders. They aren't just going to be able to get miracle Colossi kills. There's the stem forward. He might actually get it in this particular case. The Stalkers do turn around. It's not quite enough. He's going to be trading out a lot of this bio for it. Might pick up an extra couple of Stalker kills, which would be nice. Waste some Sentry energy as well. But again, trading out plenty of that Terran bio supply. And cleaning up the Colossi without having to really focus on Vikings too much is really nice.
Yeah, if he hadn't lost any medevacs there, then he'd be so far ahead. Because of the medevac loss, he won't be able to build as many Vikings, but he is getting 3 out here now. But yeah, keeping that count low, because of the way Rengen builds his army, which is actually like 0 Zealot army, he relies on the Stalkers to pad for him. But if there's very few Colossus, that doesn't work. Oh my god, that's really dangerous.
Yeah, the medevacs with the most units are actually the ones with the least amount of HP and an inverse ratio.
He's got to drop like now.
That was actually a very hefty portion of the active Terran army supply that was out on the map going down in those medevacs. The last medevac goes down. Some critical missteps for Fission.
Yeah, that's quite bad. Obviously, they're completely resetting the medevac count, losing that many forces for free. And when the Stalker count now is this high, with Zealots now being added in, then these 2 Colossus can certainly do a lot of damage, as there's just not enough bio here to charge forward and take them out. There's also just no healing.
I think Rengen might actually be able to find a better opportunity to engage than this particular one. Stalker's going to be stepping forward. SCVs have to be pulled. They're going for the surround on the Colossi, but for now they're just going to be eaten up by those laser beams. And as the Terran army supply falls, it becomes increasingly harder to hold. Triple Mule is nice. GG is called. Rengen takes it 2-1. Fission will drop out of Group A and be the first player eliminated from the round of 32 of Challenger League.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.